Welcome to Garden Delights. I'm Susan Howington, Family Consumer Science Agent with the Henry County Cooperative Extension, partnership with the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension. Today we're going to talk about peaches, and we'll also hear from Frank Hancock, our Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent, and I'll just save it for later to tell you what he's going to talk about. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights. Welcome back to Garden Delights. Today we're talking about peaches, and I have peaches to talk about. So let's just take this peach I have in front of me and talk about how good it is for you. It is low in fat, it is cholesterol and sodium free. It is very good in vitamin A and vitamin C. And the vitamin C is almost like 15% of your value for the day. So peaches and vitamin C are good. They also have a little bit of fiber. So this is about a medium peach. So a medium peach is going to be about 50 calories. So just to kind of give you an idea about the calories, and if it's larger, you're going to have a little bit more calories, but this is about a medium. So while you're selecting those peaches, you want to make sure that they are firm. They have a little fuzz, I call it fuzz around it, and you want to make sure you don't see any bruises. And if you see that, if you see them where they have a little bit of green to them, it's okay, because they may not be as ripe as you want them to be. So that's where you're going to go into your storage. So if you find a peach at the grocery store or pick your own, and it's got a little green to it, it's okay. You just need to set them out on your counter from 1 to 2 days. That is if you're going to use them pretty quickly, because the peaches will ripe very quickly. And then once after 1 to 2 days, you'll be able to touch it, see if it's a little bit of, when you touch it with your fingers and you push in, just a little bit of indentation is going to happen. That tells you that peach is getting ripe. Now, if you don't have something you're going to prepare with them in 1 to 2 days after they're ripe, definitely put them in the refrigerator, because that's going to prolong them. But also too, these are kind of stacked right here. If you're going to put ripe peaches in the refrigerator, make sure you lay them out in layers, because they do bruise very easily. But I want to get a plug to these peaches. These peaches and my blueberries and also my recipe came from Southern Belle Farm. So it's even better if you can find a place where you can pick your own, because then you know it's coming local. So look for local, that's the best. When we come back, Frank is going to be giving us an update on his Get Out and Grow program. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights.
What we're going to do this morning is we're going to give you a little update on our Get Out and Grow project. If you recall, a couple of sessions back, we planted the pollinator bed up here in Heritage Park, and it has come up pretty good. You know, we planted it back in February when it was cold, so the majority of my flowers here are the tick seed coreopsis and the Indian blanket, and there's a little bit of partridge pea in this bed, but the lemon balm seem to not come up. These are pretty much warm season plants, so we're not totally unexpected that we don't have a full coverage of everything since we started in February. But we're in the stage now of inventorying these beds. A lot of them around the county are blooming, and people are looking at them and taking insect counts and flower counts and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what we're doing with this one this morning. We also have a crew working at Locust Grove High School. The students at Locust Grove are going to take over that project, but since school got out not too long ago, some of our other volunteers went out there and inventoried those beds at Locust Grove High School, and then the students will take over after that. That's kind of where we are. You know, we started off trying to do 40 of these beds. Our goal was to get people out of the house that have been in the house due to the pandemic, and to give them something to do. I think we've accomplished that. As of right now, we have sent out 80 of these beds around the county, and some in a couple of adjoining counties that that people are for the most part happy with the way they're performing, and starting to do insect counts. 61 of those 80 beds are actually pollinator beds, and then I think 19 of them are people growing vegetables in them. That's kind of where we are. The project kind of grew a little bit bigger than we anticipated, but it's all good. We've accomplished our goal of getting people out, and now we're accomplishing our goal of assisting with some pollinator research. Today in this bed we have lots of tiny bees. Normally, if you come out here a little bit later, there's a lot of bumblebees that work this bed. I saw one just a minute ago, but we might be a little bit early for the bumblebees. But lots of tiny bees, lots of little wasps working in here, quite a few herbaceous bugs that sort of live off the plant, not necessarily pollinating. A couple of dragonflies were in here this morning. There's one sitting on the board over here waiting on us to leave, so he hadn't come back into flowers since we got here. But just scanning over this and seeing what flowers are blooming, and of course a lot of the flowers now have bloomed and have gone to seed, and so we'll be collecting some of that seed as it matures, and it will also reseed itself. This bed we put down, if you recall, right over top of some heavy sod, and we do have some grass growing in it, but it hasn't interfered with the flowers. The flowers got ahead of the grass, and they're blooming, and the pollinators are coming in here working. And we put a bed in week before last, I think, over here on the other side of the park. We may go over and just take a look at it and see how it's progressing along. It's certainly not blooming yet, but I think the plants have germinated. So everything is kind of going as planned. Our lemon balm or bee balm, there was a bumblebee just flew through there again, has not come up like we would have liked for it to, so we don't see any. There were 2 plants in here, but they've already bloomed and gone to seed, so they just didn't germinate like we would have liked for them to, but we're on track to do what we set out to do, and we still got interest. We're still getting calls from libraries and things that want to get some of these beds installed at their place, and so things are progressing along. We're just going to observe this bed. I'm making notes here about how many insects I see and what the weather's like and the time of the day, and all of that's going to be compiled. Just a bumblebee just landed on one of those plants right there, so we're just a few minutes early for the bumblebees to be in here. That's about all I wanted to do today, is just give you an update. And I know Susan was out picking some fresh fruit, and so I'm kind of looking forward to see what we're going to have to eat today.
Welcome back to Garden Delights. Today we're doing the peaches, and we're doing a peach trifle, and it is so easy but so good. So let me just kind of tell you what I have in front of me so you'll kind of see what I'm going to be doing. I already have, it's going to tell you about 1 pound cake, and so I've taken the pound cake and I have already chopped it up into small little cubes like this, and I'll show you in just a second. It's going to also tell you about 2 cups of blueberries. that's going to go on it. But the main show is our peaches, and this is about 6 peaches that I've chopped up. I did put a little bit of lemon juice on it to keep them from turning, because you know once it hits the air it's going to turn, so I was trying to keep it as fresh looking as possible. And then we also are going to have a little bit of the whipped topping in between the layers. So the whipped topping is pretty easy too. So what I have is a 4 ounce of cream cheese, and it's at room temperature, and that's what you're going to need for the recipe. You're going to need about 2 cups of Cool Whip. And also you're going to need about a teaspoon of vanilla and about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and do the Cool Whip part first, because I want to have it ready so when I do the trifle everything's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Cool Whip inside this other bowl, and I do want to make sure I get it all. And this is just you could just use plain Cool Whip. This kind of adds a little to it, so that's the reason why I want to kind of go through it with you. So I'm going to kind of wipe that off. I'm going to dump the sugar in, which is 1.5 tablespoons, and I'm going to dump in the vanilla, and that's about 1 teaspoon. I'm going to set this right here because I'm going to need it again. So I'm going to mix this up, and I want to get the cream cheese all mixed in together because I do want it to fluff up to go in between each layers. So I'm going to bump it up just a little bit more. And also, too, I want my cream cheese really mixed in really good. So it's holding its peaks really well. And that's what I want because it's firm. And the cream cheese is mixed up really well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. All right, so we have that all mixed up. And so now we're going to move into trying to put this trifle together. And I'll try to move some of the bowls as we get done with each one of them. I'm also going to decorate a little bit with a little bit of a peach and also some extra blueberries at the end. But I'll do that at the very end. So what we want to try to do for the trifle, you want to put a little bit of the cake first. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead. I already have it chopped up, like I said, in little chunks. So I'm going to go ahead and put these into the trifle. Now, this is a pretty large pound cake, so it will fill this up pretty good. So I'm going to use half of this because that's all I want is the bottom of it. So I'm going to move that around. And if your pound cake is really large, it really depends on your trifle size. So I used about almost over a little half of the pound cake. So depends on your trifle. If it's larger, you're probably going to use the whole pound cake. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to come in with my peaches, and I'm going to put a little bit of those in there. And I want to spread them out because when we eat the trifle, I want a bite of peaches all through there. So I'm going to kind of half these out. And the good thing is when they're not too ripe, you don't have a whole lot of juice, because when they're really ripe, you're going to have a lot of juice. So now I'm going to put a little bit of the blueberries in there. And like I said, I really love when you go pick your own, and especially when you have Southern Belle Farm right here local, that you can find what you need to make your trifle. And you know, you can use any fruit you want, but I'm using the blueberries and the peaches. So I'm going to do it like that for right now. That's about half of them. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to use my good old whipped cream that I just made up, and I'm going to try to get about half of that in there also, because I want to end up with the whipped cream at the top. So I'm going to do about half of it. And then I'm going to spread this around. I'm going to set this back down. And it makes it a really nice look too with the blueberries, gives a little bit of color. Just going to move it around. And this is not like overpowering with the Cool Whip. It just gives it a little sweet taste to it. And that's all you really want because you've got your pound cake. Now, if you don't want to use pound cake, you can use other types of cakes also, like a sponge cake if you want to use that too. So you could go with that also. So we're going to start the same way again. So I'm going to start with my cake, and I'm going to put it in. Just going to try to keep dumping it in. See if I can use my spatula just a little bit. Get it loose. And so you can see that this is going to almost add up to the very top of this. So I'm going to move those around just a little bit and push down just a little bit because I do want them to kind of mix in with the Cool Whip part too. So I'm just going to push just a little bit. So now I'm going to start with my peaches, And I'm going to use the rest of these. And I almost have this finished. I'm going to move those around because I do want to make sure they're all scooting around in there too. And then I'm going to add some of the blueberries. I'm going to save just a little bit because I do want to decorate on the top with them blueberries, and I'm going to slice some of my peaches too for the top of it. So I wanted to save just a little bit. Just going to move these around just a little bit because I do want great layers. So I'm going to save those, and now I'm going to alternate again with my Cool Whip. Get this out, and I really want to scoop every bit out this time. Get it on top. So easy, but so tasty. And then also, you know, we say we don't get enough fruit, and this is a great way to get your fruit in for the day. So I'm going to do that. I'll stack this one over here. And I'm just going to push it out. Try to get it covered over the top. I think that looks really good. So I do want to get the rest of it off that spatula though. Okay, so I'm going to set this out like this. And what I'm going to do is I have this peach already washed. So I'm going to just take a little bit of this peach and I'm going to slice it just to get a little decoration. Now you notice when I put the chopped peaches on the trifle, they didn't have any skins on it. So if you leave the skin on your peach, you're going to get more fiber. So all I want is just a little bit of decoration. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to leave the skin on, and I'm just going to decorate a little bit with it and do a little slices with it. But believe me, this peach, it's going to get eaten. It's not going to just sit there for sure. So all I want to do is just to show you how you can take it and decorate with your sliced peaches, just to give it a little bit of flair. I need a little bit more. And then I'm going to take a little bit of, put that one on there too. I'm going to take the rest of these blueberries, and I'm just going to kind of put them in the centers. It's almost like you have a little flower there, but also gives you an idea of what you have in your trifle too. So now you have this wonderful trifle here that looks so pretty, so tasty. When you want to do something real simple for somebody coming over, this is a great recipe. So when we see you in just a little bit, Frank and I will be tasting this trifle. See you back in just a little bit on Garden of Lights. Welcome back to Garden of Lights. Well, Frank, we have a peach trifle, and thanks to Southern Belle Farms for donating the peaches, the pound cake, and the blueberries.
What kind of flower is that on top of it there?
Well, you know, you got to decorate it every once in a while, whatever you have. So I figured at least you got it. I said it was going to be a flower, so you got what I was trying to decorate with.
It's a big trifle.
Yes. You ready? Because I'm going to dig down and try my best to not make a total mess. So, oh, that was good. We landed right into your bowl. Hold on. We're not done. Let me just kind of move down a little bit more. There we go. You're doing good, Frank, helping me out. Oh, we did it. We didn't do good. I want to get you some blueberries right here in this. How's that?
All right, okay.
All right, we made a little bit of a mess, but not much. I'm going to put them peaches in my bowl.
You want me to hold your bowl up there?
Well, that would be probably good. This is full, but that's okay. That means you have a lot to eat, right?
That's right.
That should be good.
We'll probably have some help.
Oh, I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. I'm looking forward to tasting it.
This is good. Yeah, I was getting a trifle worried there that you weren't going to call me.
Oh, I was going to call you. Yeah, this is just about like eating ice cream, isn't it?
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. And when the peaches are ripe, it's really good.
That cake came from Southern Belle, too.
It did. It's nice to have local grown, handmade cake, everything. So, yes, you're right.
We could do this again. You know, we don't really have to be filming the show to do this.
Exactly. That's the reason why it's so easy. When you have company coming over, you can put this together pretty darn quick.
Well, we've been studying our pollinator beds. You know, we put out quite a few of those
I know it.
beds around the county, and now they're all blooming, so we're having to work.
And I'm hoping mine at my house is going to start blooming.
If you'd quit letting the deer eat the buds off of it, it probably would.
Exactly. But I am looking forward to hearing the reports coming in from all the other people that's doing it for us. So I think it's a great idea. Because we have to have pollinators just to get our peaches, don't we?
Oh,
and our
yes,
blueberries. Yeah. So this recipe is so easy. You can tell Frank and I are enjoying it. Check out the website for the recipe. Frank and I will see you next time on Garden Delights.
All right, don't forget what they always say.
What's that, Frank?
You already forgot.